The time has come for another legend. Do you have the magic?
Actually forgot to do an intro to this video, so I'm going to do a little voiceover work here at the beginning, and I'll pop back in through the video just to make some comments here and there. This video is going to be the teardown and depopulation of the Theater of Magic playfield. I will go through tearing down the entire top side and then the entire backside of the game as well. Basically go through removing all the harnesses, taking all the parts apart, etc. I then clean the harnesses and do a little bit of restoration and painting of the back of the playfield before starting to tumble some of the metal parts. So if that sounds interesting to you, please take a look, and thanks for watching. First step I'm going to do here, and then I'll kind of fast forward this on super fast mode, is just to take off the main plastic parts that are keeping everything down. As you can see, the first thing I tried to do was remove that main ramp on the right, but it's being held down by the tiger saw plastic. So I removed that from the backboard, and as you can see, the back of that bracket is pretty rusty. So that will be cleaned and probably sealed with a nice coat of Rust-Oleum, since it's not going to be seen by the player, just to prevent any further rusting. And now I can proceed with removal of that main ramp. With the main ramp now gone, I can proceed with the removal of the left-sided ramp. With the two main ramps removed, I now proceed with removal of the large pieces of hardware off of the side rails and remove a lot of the main plastics as well, so I can see just what I need to do to get the rest of the playfield depopulated. At this point, we're kind of down to the last of the plastics and left with just a lot of posts and metal guides. So these will now all be removed one by one.
This is day 2 of the Playfield strip. So I've stripped the top side enough to get it flipped over and stable. And so now I'm going to start seeing if I can take this mess apart. Go ahead and just start. Well, you know what? Let's just leave that together for now. So I'm going to try and do this in some phases here. I've never worked on a theater of magic before, so it's going to be a little bit of trial and error. It's surprising me. Okay, so yeah, see there's standoffs here that should be holding all of this together, and they're not. So that's part of why this looks like a total bird's nest here. So let's just start taking things apart. So this is after phase 1 of depopulation of the backside. I didn't do a time-lapse video on this because I had to take way too many photos to keep everything straight because it's really complicated. But there are generally 3 harnesses on games like this, okay? There's a solenoid harness, there's a switch harness, and there's a GI harness. So usually the solenoid harness is on top, then the switch harness, then the GI. I'm going to see if that's actually the case here. It looks like the switch harness might be the bottom one on this. Yeah, it is. So here's your lighting harness, and here is your switch harness underneath it, okay? And then your solenoid harness is over there right now, which I've already taken off. And I kept the solenoids on it as much as I could. Some of the bigger mechs, I left the solenoids on, but I just do that just so, again, I can kind of keep track of things later on. When I wash this up, I'll take all of the hardware pieces off and tumble those, and then the solenoids will actually stay on there, and they'll go into the bath with everything else. A lot of the, some of the labels may come off when they get wet, but that's okay, I'm gonna replace them anyways. So, next step is to take off the lighting harness, which is this one here. And to do that, you just go pick a spot and start taking out lights. And I'm going to leave all the lights connected again so that, you know, again, I can kind of just keep track of them. It's not going to hurt them to go into the water bath and get cleaned up with the rest of the harness. And then whatever I'm going to replace with the obstacles and stuff, I can do later on once I get the playfield restored. Just from an organizational perspective, this is all of the top side playfield parts that I've taken off. This is the bottom side playfield fasteners. And this is where the bottom side brackets and things are going to go as I take them off. So I'll keep going. Here it is with the lighting harness off. So the only harness remaining is the switch harness, which I will now remove. Here it is with all 3 harnesses removed. So all we have left are the individual boards and the big mechs to take off, which again, just document and pull them off. Here is the bare backside of the playfield. I had to leave the pop nails in because, look at the other side, I was correct. There is Mylar over the entire playfield, and you can feel it. It's right there. So I don't know if that was factory or not. I don't know if they Mylar'd the whole playfield, but it's Mylar'd over where the pop nails are. So I'm gonna have to remove this Mylar, but the first thing I'm gonna do is scan this entire playfield so I have all the artwork, so that if I end up losing any artwork from the Mylar removal, then I won't, I'll have the artwork in the scan so that I can then restore it. So next step for this, I'm gonna clean this playfield just with some simple green to get all the dust and dirt off of it. And then I'm gonna see if I can find a large format scanner that I can use somewhere to scan like larger pieces of the playfield so I don't have to stitch quite as much together. I do have a little portable scanner that I could use, but I'd really rather see if I can find a good quality like commercial scanner somewhere that I can pay somebody to scan this for me real quick. So I'm gonna see if I can do that, but I'm gonna clean this playfield up. Here's all the parts. There's all of the backside. Hello. As I drop the playfield. Let's just put that there. Here's a lot of the playfield backside parts. This is the top to the trunk mech, which is not easy to get off. The body to the trunk mech is down there, as is the big kicker mech and everything that runs all the doors and the trap doors and the subway and whatnot. Here's all of your light boards. Here's the back. Those are all of your side rails. Here's your trough here. And then this is all of the topside playfield parts. So I'm going to kind of total up what I need to order and get a big order made for this game so I can kind of get it cooking while I work on everything else. So I'm going to clean this up and we'll see if we can scan it in. Harness cleaning time. So this is the light harness, currently taking a little bath. I use simple green first, spray it all over to kind of get the degreasing part started. And then I use this stuff, Dawn Power Wash. I stole that from Chris at High End Pens. I saw one of his videos and that's what he used. And it works really good. So I let it kind of sit there for a couple of minutes. And then I will just take my scrubby brush and scrub everything down and then rinse it all clean. And then what I do, which that one hasn't been done yet, but I hang it on my garage door thing. You just have to remember not to open the garage door. Bad news if you do that. So hang it up, let it dry, drip dry, and then just make sure you let it dry really, really well. I'm gonna go on vacation here in about 5 days. So I'm gonna get all these cleaned and then they'll have a full week to air dry. So they'll be nice and dry when I get back. I don't know if you can tell the difference here, but here's pre-wash and here's after wash. So it just cleans it up really nice, gets all of the dust and the dirt off of it, all the carbon dust and stuff that's accumulated over the years. And when you go to reassemble the playfield now, you're not gonna get, carbon dust all over your fingers, which gets all over everywhere, and it's just better to have a clean harness. So there you go. Here's all 3 harnesses, cleaned up, washed, and ready to dry. It worked really good, actually. I was very impressed with that Dawn, what's it called? Power Wash. Cleaned them up nicely. I'll replace all these wrappers, but still, that's pretty good for just a wash. I'm gonna have to replace a bunch of these flash bulbs because a lot of them are rusted, but I've got some extras, so that's fine. I did lose one wrapper in the process, but it was coming off before I washed. Point that out. And this one's obviously not factory, but this one is obviously not factory, but I'll replace everything with new coil wrappers anyway, make it look nice. So that worked pretty good. I think that's going to be my primary method for washing harnesses in the future. I like it a lot better than the dishwasher method. There's a little bit left in there. Just because I don't like I just feel like the dishwasher method is a little bit too aggressive for me personally. But I know people do the dishwasher method and it works good. But so there you go. Now, next step, here's all the solenoid hardware. So I'm going to wash that real quick in the same stuff, and then I'm going to tumble it and get it all clean and start to work through all of the hardware as far as cleaning it off. Probably talked about this before, but I do put some of this in my tumbler, which is right there with some parts in it. It just helps shine them up a little bit shinier. Good stuff. So this is the back of the Playfield. And some of these holes are a little bit blown out from wear and vibration and stuff over the years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some little pieces of toothpick and I'm going to glue them into the holes down underneath the surface. So it'll still have a dimple there, so I'll know where the screw goes, but there'll be some wood and wood glue that's down in the actual hole so that when I put the screw in, it's going to have something to bite into and be secure. So I'm going to put those into each of these spots and then I'll come back. All right, little update. So I went in and put pieces of toothpick in each of these screw holes just to give it something to bite into when I reassemble the Playfield, because some of these screw holes were kind of stripped out. Then I took a photo of the back of the Playfield with all of the little shadows of where everything goes, just for documentation purposes for later. And then I sanded the back of this with 120 grit sandpaper just to get a nice clean surface. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put paper towel in all of the inserts to cover them. And I will use a little roller to paint the back of this in Zinsser 123 in gray. And that'll seal it, dress it up a little bit, and also help keep carbon dust and stuff from staining it as much in the future. So I will show you what it looks like after it's painted.